Oh my, it was just wonderful. What I didn't remember is how cramped it was.
Next, tour with the former co-pilot on the movie version of the Memphis Belle.
The Memphis Belle was one of the first World War II B-17 flying fortresses to complete 25 combat missions over Europe, bringing its highly decorated crew of 10 back to America for a war bonds tour that raised morale and desperately needed money for a nation at war. A vital piece of American history clawed its way into the air. In
this case, the movie version of the Memphis Belle is here, wowing onlookers and bringing joy to World War II veterans who got to fly back into history. NBC4's Rick Reitzel takes us along on that memorable flight.
The thunderous roar of engines brought back memories for several World War II veterans today. Second Lieutenant Stacy Hall of Newark was a 20-year-old co-pilot fresh out of flight school when he helped manhandle a flying fortress like this called Little Genie.
It's been 68 years since I've been on one, so how long has it been since you?
45.
Yeah.
Today was a dream come true for several of those seasoned B-17 bomber crew members. Hall recounted memories of bombing missions while flak tore through the thin-skinned plane, as well as the camaraderie of his 10-man crew.
I only went on 4 missions, but we saw fighter planes on 2 of them.
The veterans were the first aboard.
Boy, oh boy. Talk about bringing back memories, huh?
At 88 years old, Hall says he won't be swinging into the front hatch like he used to.
It's even smaller than I remember.
Within minutes, we were flying through the blue yonder, and Hall was eating it up. And the thrills kept coming as Hall stood with the pilots in the navigator and front gunner position and had free reign of the rest of the plane.
Once I flew a B-17, I was just so fascinated with it that I just fell in love with it, of course.
A love that has lasted nearly 7 decades, placing him and a diminishing number of others from our greatest generation squarely in our history books. A history the Liberty Foundation, responsible for this B-17, one of only 12 left, hope to preserve.
I love those stories with those veterans from World War II being able to reconnect like that.
Can you imagine memories that flood back?
This is the movie version of the Memphis Belle, the original one. Yes, exactly. Well, it's still a World War II B-17. The original one's still being rebuilt over at the Air Museum in Dayton. So.
Is it accurate? I mean, is that exactly?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Exactly, except for the Memphis Belle has a gun turret in the very front of it.
Yeah. So. Seeing him crawl through that, though, he's still in pretty good shape.
Not bad.
And one last thing, too. One of the veterans told me out of the 10-man crew, the oldest man was 22 years old.
At that time. That was probably the pilot.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Great story.
Rick.
Thanks, Rick. Benny?
Thanks, Colleen Cabot. And Rick, that really was a cool story. Take a look at these pop-ups that are developing just to the west of US 33. We'll switch